Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all have been doing well. For this week's video, I wanted to do my 10 before the end, and what I mean by that is basically the 10 books that I want to read before the end of the year. This is essentially my end of year TBR video, so I'm really going to be talking about 10 books that I'm going to try and prioritize in the next 2 months, which, how is there only 2 months left of this year? I don't know. I'm a bit terrified at that thought, but with all that said, I would like to read these 10. I don't know if I will or not. I'm gonna try and make my way or as much progress as I can through this list, but I'm also saving space for like the seasonal reads that I do know that I want to read as well in addition to these books. So we'll see where I net out, but these are just 10 that have been sitting on my TBR for a hot minute that I would love to just get off my list and start the new year off with a fresh start. So grab a snack, grab a beverage, get comfortable because I'm about to yap about 10 books. The first book that I have on my list is The Bright Years. Now, I believe this is a book that came out earlier this year. I think the author is based in Dallas. I've seen her pop up a lot in my local area, so I think she's a native. I could be totally wrong on that. I have seen this book a lot this year. I've seen it online and also in my personal life of just friends reading it, and basically everyone has given it a 5 stars. They totally recommend it. And one of my goals for this year was to read more fiction books, and so that's why I'm prioritizing this one. I have the audiobook already, and I believe we essentially follow a few generations within one family, and there's some secrets that come out. So we're dealing a lot, I think, with grief, inner turmoil within a family, and how does one resolve that? And it sounds interesting. Again, all of my friends have read it, and people online that I'm friends with have read it, and they've all given it 5 stars, and they told me I should really check it out. Also, I think the cover's really pretty. Like every time I see it in the bookstore, I stop and look at it and I'm like, is this the time I'm gonna buy it right now? But I have the audiobook, so I'm gonna prioritize reading that first, and then if I really love it, if I also give it a 5 stars, then I might pick it up physically. But this is a book on my TBR. The next book on my list has been on my list for a hot minute, but I think now is the time to read it, and that is Project Hail Mary. I know, some of you are probably like, how have you not read this book yet? It's like one of the most popular books for a reason. I don't know why, I just haven't read it. I've been putting it off, but I feel like now is the time to read it, especially because there is a movie coming out. I thought it was supposed to come out at the end of this year, but I think they pushed it into early next year. So I do have a little bit more time to squeeze it in. But I have the audiobook, and that is the method that I'm gonna do for this one because I posted this on TikTok and everyone and their mother basically told me I had to 1, read it, but then 2, do it on audiobook. So I will be reading this one on audiobook, and I know nothing about this book other than that it's like sci-fi fantasy, question mark. Not even fully confident about that. I know nothing, but I think that is how I should go into this book, basically not knowing much or not knowing anything, I think is maybe the best way to go about this one. But I actually am determined to get to this before the end of the year. This is probably within like my top 5 out of my top 10 here that I really would want to get to before the year is up. I'm excited. I'm also excited for the movie to come out. I mean, Ryan Gosling, who doesn't love him? So hopefully I will get to this one. I'm thinking maybe early December. That's like when I'm thinking of picking up the audiobook, but we'll see, who knows. The next book on my TBR here is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gellig. She's actually an author that is new to me as of this year. I read The Shepherd King's duology, so what is those? One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crown. I read those books earlier this year and absolutely loved Rachel's writing. I think it's very different compared to a lot of fantasy / romantasy books that are out here right now. Her writing is just so unique and different and intriguing, so I'm really excited to dive into this one. I'm actually probably going to pick it up within the next week or so. That's how determined I am to read it, because I feel like everyone was talking about this during like the publishing month when it came out, and then I haven't heard much chatter about it since. I do know that the sequel is coming out next year, so I would love to read this one, get it off my plate, and then when the sequel comes out I can read it with everyone in real time, because I kind of feel like I missed out when I didn't read this with everyone. I literally don't know much about this one. I think our characters can foresee the future, and then something's going wrong where people are getting kidnapped and she has to partner with the knight and their community. That's the gist of what I know, and it may not be much, but I'm excited for it. Now, this next book, you guys might be coming for me because this book has been in several seasonal TBRs, and that is The Will of the Many. I know, I just never got to this book. I don't know why. I think I'm intimidated by how long this book is, even though, again, everyone and their mother says it's fantastic, and I think the sequel comes out really soon, so definitely behind the train on this one. But I would really, really, really love to get to this one. Again, this is kind of on the lower end of my priorities out of these 10 books that I've rounded up, but it would be nice because it has been sitting on my shelf for a really long time now, and I can make space for more books if I get it off. I know you guys, it's so bad that this has been on my list for so many TBRs now and I still haven't gotten to it, but hey, we're not all perfect, okay? Now, as a palette cleanser book, the next book that I have here is Fake Skating by Lynn Painter. I love Lynn Painter. I especially love her YA romances, and I did pick this one up recently, and she's a nice palette cleanser of a book, okay? Like, I don't know much. I think it's a hockey romance, young adult, obviously, and that's enough for me to want to read it. I have a few other fantasy books on here, so it's nice sometimes just to have this young adult, contemporary type of romance just to like help palette cleanse so I'm not too in the fantasy world and getting things confused. So I will try and read this one sooner. I think it's perfect time of year. Hockey obviously fits for the winter themed. So I am gonna try and prioritize it. I would maybe say it's like number 6 on my reading order here of like priorities. But again, who knows? I am such a mood reader that I just don't know sometimes what I'm gonna be craving. I might read this sooner. I don't know, guys. I'm so bad. The next book on my list is another fiction book, and that is Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I have never read any books by Fredrik Backman, and I feel like that's a crime, and I need to fix that before the year is up. I did pick this book up in the summertime, and I've just been holding on to it purposefully for winter. This is also a small town hockey centered story, and all I know is Fredrik Backman's writing is very impactful. People are moved by his words and his writing and just how he can connect everything into these amazing metaphors about life. So I am eager to read it. I am purposefully saving this for December. I do know that this one will 100% get read in December, and I would say out of my priority reads, this is probably number 1 if I'm being honest. I feel like I'm ready for a Fredrik Backman book. In the years past, I don't think I would have appreciated it as I would now. So I'm ready, I'm eager, and I'm excited. Now, this next book is kind of a wild card in that I feel like I've seen a lot of people talk about it last year, and I haven't seen much chatter since, but the chatter I do see, it's all praise, and that is Blood Over Brighthaven. I could not tell you what this is about, but it's another maybe YA fantasy question mark, or like new adult fantasy. And other than that, I don't know, but people are obsessed with it. When I posted this on TikTok, again, the fandom came and they were like, you need to read this like now. So I said, yes, ma'am, I will put it on my list. So it's on my 10 before the end. I will say this is probably like number 10. It's not a huge priority for me to read right now, but if I get to it, cool. If not, I will definitely prioritize it in the next year. And this next book, guys, you're gonna be shaking your head at me again because this one has been on my TBR in so many videos this year, and that is An Ember in the Ashes. Don't come for me. I know, I just haven't gotten to it. It's been sitting on my shelf for literally a year now at this point, so it will get read. November is the month, I'm calling it. I would say this is like maybe the 3rd book on my list of priorities, so I would put Beartown, The Night and the Moth, and then this one, An Ember in the Ashes, as like my top 3 of books I have to read because I don't want them sitting on my shelves any longer. I'm also excited for all of these books, so I'm really prioritizing them. They're gonna get read, guys, don't you worry. The next book on my TBR is The Favorites, and I'm actually gonna listen to this one on audiobook because everyone that I saw that read this did recommend the audiobook and said it was similar to Daisy Jones and the Six and the style that it was told and narrated. And I didn't do the audiobook for Daisy Jones and the Six, but I feel like I would have enjoyed it even more. So for The Favorites, I will be doing the audiobook, and this follows essentially a very famous ice skating couple that competes, and I guess there's drama and scandal and the media and the press. So it's basically just like dramatized ice skaters, which I am totally here for it. I've seen people make fun edits for this one, and it just seems kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to say Evelyn Hugo vibes, but just Evelyn Hugo in the sense of like paparazzi, drama, articles, press, but then also like Daisy Jones and the Six of like tension between the couple, will they, won't they, who knows what's going on kind of vibes. So I'm excited. And to round out my 10 before the end, I have another Kristen Hanna book I want to make myself cry, and that's The Nightingale. This is, I think, everyone's favorite Kristen Hanna book. When I ask people for recommendations, this is quite literally always the one that they recommend. So I picked it up recently from one of my indie bookstores, and I'm excited to read it. I'm scared. I know to have tissues ready on hand. It's another thick book, so that's another like, I need to pace myself here on my books, but I really do want to get to it. I do believe this one's also coming out into a movie with the Fanning sisters playing the main characters. So I really do want to read this before the movie comes out. I'm just excited to read another work from Kristen Hanna. She's also a new to me this year author. I read Firefly Lane from her at the beginning of this year and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was moved by her writing, and that also just inspired me to want to read more fiction and to branch out of my normal genres because I clearly love it. I'm in the mood to cry. I will pick this one up. So those are the 10 books that I'm hoping to read before the year is over. Let me know what your 10 before the end is, or if you've read any of these books and your thoughts on them, let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next time that I post, and I'll catch you on my next video, guys. Bye.